Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day, my oh my, it's a wonderful day. It's a very pleasant summer's morning on this Thursday, the 8th day of July, 2021. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and I'm Dan Kuntz in the host chair once again. Very pleasant morning. Clear skies, 64 degrees, and the hits just keep on coming. We're going to have very quiet, very sunny, warm, borderline hot weather right on through the forecast period, which is for the next 7 days. When it comes to the world of weather, there's just not a lot to talk about. What you see outside of our studios is what we're going to have for the foreseeable future is another ridge of high pressure, not nearly as intense as we had during that massive heat wave at the very end of June. Not going to be that hot, but it's still going to be plenty warm for most people. Forecast details are coming up. We hit 92 yesterday. That was our high. Measured up at Pangbourne. Our high and low was 92 and 69. Normally, for this time of the year, our high would be 85 and our low would be 60. So I did the math. I had to do a little research this morning, but I got her done. We've now gone 21 consecutive days with our afternoon high temperature above normal, oftentimes well above normal. We are off to a very warm start for summer, and now that we're well into summer, it's just going to stay that way. Details are coming up. Mostly, in fact, it's almost all good news when it comes to the Batterman Road fire. They did a briefing last night at 8 o'clock to give us the latest update. It's all good news. They're making some pretty good headway. Fire's about the same size as it was 24 hours ago. That's always good. In fact, they're even decommissioning some of the fire personnel and sending them off to other fires. That's always good news. We'll have the latest on the Batterman Road fire. Coming up, we'll have sports. The Yankees seem to love playing in Seattle. They play better in Seattle than they do in the Bronx. Yankees beat the Mariners again. Much closer game than it was a couple of nights ago. And the Apple Sox, their 7-game league losing streak came to an end. They took care of Port Angeles last night. We'll talk about that with sports. We'll have the obscure holidays, some celebrity birthdays today in history and opinion from Mike Mad Dog Magnotti. How much money is too much money? That's on Mike's mind. It is Thursday, pause for pets. It's Wabbit season. Cinnabon the Wabbit, or Rabbit, if you will be profiled by our own Megan McPherson. That's coming up as well. And I had a chance to talk to Neil Oyston and Matt Wisen of the Wenatchee FC club, the Wenatchee FC B05 team, which Neil is the coach. That means these are players who were born in the year 2005 or are on a remarkable run. And this weekend, they're going to try and win the national championship in their division. They'll be in Colorado this weekend. They left yesterday. But before they did, Neil had a chance to come down and visit with me alongside Matt Wisen, our soccer expert, who happens to be the vice president of the board of Wenatchee FC. That conversation in the back half of the hour. Let's begin our festivities, shall we? Let's see what's going on out there. I have a feeling we're going to have nothing but spectacular views today. There is the cross camera. We had to take it down, as you know, and move it not long ago. Now it's back up again. The little bump that you see in the lower left-hand corner tells me it's pointed maybe just a little bit more towards the Wenatchee side of the river. The days are gradually getting shorter, but it's so incremental it's almost impossible. Sunrise is more like 5:15, and sunset is shortly before 9 o'clock. But it is the lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer. Those days of baseball and hot dogs and beer and what have you. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley. Not a cloud in the sky. This is vacation time. It really is. Camera 2. Megan says, let's go see what's happening up Aniat Way from our Waterville camera. Is that confirmation, Megan? Yeah, it is the Waterville camera pointing down towards the Columbia River. The very sliver of Aniat is to your left. Earthquake Point is obvious there, and you can see the orchards with the netting over the top of the trees. That would tell me, anyway, that those would be cherry orchards. They could be apricots. They're in full season, but I'm assuming they're cherry orchards, and they put the netting up to keep the crows specifically from eating the cherries. And it seems to work, or else they wouldn't do it. Good morning to our friends at Lake Aniat and the Columbia River from our Waterville camera. Unbelievable view there. Camera number 3. Hello to Lake Chelan. I want to say from Lower Butte. And it is from Lower Butte. Thank you, Megan. 3 fingers jumps right out at you there. I wonder what they're going to do with that. I think they got through all of the court actions and all the legal ramifications. What are they going to do with 3 fingers? I hear it's going to be maybe developed or maybe a public park or maybe a little bit of both. I honestly don't know. The marina is looking good. Lake Chelan looks good. Lake Chelan is definitely the place to be this time of the year. All of the businesses that depend on the tourists in Lake Chelan have got to be happy with all the restrictions off. It's no masking, full capacity. Let's go have fun up at the lake. It's hard not to have fun up at Lake Chelan in camera number 4. Ooh, Valley High? Yep, the angle of the sun is on the lens there at beautiful Valley High up in the Blewett Pass area. A nice place to go if you need to cool off, but it's actually very pleasant. It's only 64 degrees, and it's not going to be particularly hot today. And then we're going to start building up as that ridge is expected to be in place by this time tomorrow, and that means warm, well, who's kidding who? Hot temperatures are returning to the Wenatchee Valley. If you haven't given your air conditioner a chance to take a break, now would be a good time to do it. Maybe, right before you go to bed, just turn it off. This is what I did. I turned off the AC part of it, but I kept it on fan so the air still circulates, and it gives the air conditioner and the compressor a chance just to take a break, because most home AC units simply aren't designed to be on trying to cool a room constantly for weeks on end. If you have a commercial or an industrial type, that's cool, but if it's just a regular home system, this might be a good time to let your AC take a quick breather before it goes back to work over the weekend. From the National Weather Service, here we go. About 95 today, just a skosh warmer than what we had yesterday. Again, we were 92 and 69. Normally our overnight lows are closer to about 60 degrees, so it's been quite mild for the overnight lows. And then we start building her up again. 99, near 100 on Friday, 68 for the overnight low. Triple digits expected on Saturday. Again, the peak heat of the day is right around 4:30 to 5:30. And then we'll just be hovering right around that 100-degree mark. There's literally nothing going on. Another ridge of high pressure is going to start encamping over the north central Washington area. It's not going to be nearly as intense as the 114 that we had, but it's still going to be plenty warm for most people. Sunny, hot, sunny, hot, sunny, hot, sunny, hot, sunny, hot, sunny, hot. It is summertime in north central Washington. That's about as easy. I have no idea. Grant, of course, had yesterday off. I have no idea what he's going to do when it comes to doing the weather today. I had to do the weather yesterday, and it was all I could do to stretch it out. It's just, here we are. It's just this is one of the reasons why a lot of people live here. And this is the time of the year when I remind myself, 6 months from now, we're going to be in the dead of winter. It'll be in early January. So we want to remember these days and soak up these days, because we earn these days, these sunny and warm days. We earn them when we're in the dead of winter. So enjoy this beautiful area. Going to take a break at 8 minutes after the hour. When we come back, we'll have your Thursday morning news. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
What you're doing is ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, you might as well throw up a screen door to block the summer smoke.
sometimes it gets
When we
warm.
breathe in the wildfire smoke, we are ingesting hazardous chemicals such as acetic acid and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. A lot of bad stuff, okay?
Well, yeah, that's why we...
Cardboard ain't gonna cut it.
So...
Go to ChelanPUD.org/save today.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
9 minutes after the hour, bountiful sunshine for everybody. Outside of our studios, 66 degrees, mid-90s today, upper 90s on Friday, and we'll be hovering right around that upper 90s, 100-degree temperatures for the forecast period through at least the next 7 days, if not longer than that, and the occasional light breeze, and outside of that, summertime in the Wenatchee Valley. We'll begin with another live shot of what's going on with the Batterman Road fire from our Badger Mountain camera, and there's really not a lot to talk about. It's almost all good news after last night's briefing. As you can see, not a lot of smoke. Whatever smoke that you do see is those unburned islands of brush and grass that are inside the line, so still are going to produce some smoke. But all the news is pretty much good. It's at 14,325 acres. That's pretty much the same size as it was 24 hours ago, so it didn't grow much at all. It's now 50 contained. Full containment for the Batterman Road fire is expected to happen this weekend. The control lines held despite the high winds yesterday afternoon. That's always good news. All evacuation levels are going to be dropped to level 1 sometime today if things remain stable. And since there's very little wind in the forecast today, that looks like that is going to happen. As I mentioned at the top of the show, some firefighters are demobilizing. They're going to be reassigned to other fires. In fact, it looks like the Douglas County Fire District will take over on Sunday morning from the incident management team. Again, no injuries reported, no structures have been lost. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. So there you have the latest on the Batterman Road fire. Crime news this morning. A total of 4 people are now charged in a gang-related gunfire attack last month in East Wenatchee, as well as the events that led up to that gunfire attack. 25-year-old Jorge Reyes and 35-year-old Armando Valdez Godina are the 2 adult suspects who allegedly led a group of people that staked out an East Wenatchee home on June 5th and opened fire when the victim returned to the house. 1 man was wounded. Reyes faces attempted murder and assault charges. Valdez has been charged as an accomplice. A Wenatchee 16-year-old Angel Eduardo Montez has been charged as an adult with first-degree assault. Douglas County prosecutors now say the incident had its roots 3 days earlier. That's when a 15-year-old boy from Rock Island attacked and robbed a teenage victim on June 2nd. Police say when the victim's relatives complained, Reyes, Valdez, and others came looking to assault the family on June 5th. The 15-year-old is now charged in juvenile court with first-degree robbery. Prosecutors want an East Wenatchee man to serve 20 days in jail and pay almost $53,000 in restitution. This to the woman who was attacked by his dogs. 64-year-old Timothy Dale Houston pled guilty on June 29th to 4 counts of owning a dangerous dog. The charge is a gross misdemeanor. Back in January of 2020, Houston's 4 dogs attacked a woman jogging on number 2 Canyon Road just outside of Wenatchee after Houston turned them loose and then fell asleep in his parked pickup. The woman required stitches for multiple bite wounds, including facial injuries. Wenatchee Valley Animal Control seized and destroyed all 4 dogs. Now, Houston initially faced felony charges, but in the spring of spring of this year, I should say, he agreed to plead to lesser charges in Chelan County District Court. Under the plea agreement, county prosecutors recommend that Judge Kyle Mott sentence Houston to jail time, a $350 fine, and restitution of $53,000 to cover the medical expenses of the victim. Houston will be sentenced on August 31st. Law enforcement officials believe that the inmate who escaped from the Grant County Jail in Ephrata on the 4th of July is hiding out somewhere in Ephrata. Grant County Sheriff spokesman Kyle Foreman told NCW Live 24-year-old Carlos Camarena is not considered a danger to the public.
So on Sunday, the 4th of July, Carlos Camarena, who is a jail inmate trustee, which means that he can, under supervision, do tasks around the jail, around the community. And he was performing his duties at the jail. One of his duties was to take out the trash to a dumpster. While he was doing that, he decided that he wanted to leave, and so he fled. He's a nonviolent offender. He was serving a 240-day sentence for second-degree burglary and third-degree theft. He was scheduled to be released in January of 2022. He's from Grant County, so we suspect that he is somewhere still in Grant County or the area. There are people who are speculating that he might flee out of the country. We don't think that's the case. We think his resources and his cohorts have him somewhere in central Washington. Trustees are not unusual in any county jail facility. If anyone who's around any community can see them in their orange jumpsuits, as is the case at Grant County. They may be out picking up trash around the community, helping at community facilities with labor. They're under supervision the whole time, and before they're allowed to be a trustee, they're assessed for their risk. They have to be a nonviolent offender. They're supervised the whole time that they're out doing their work. So he wasn't just allowed to roam about freely without being watched. He was under the supervision of jail staff. However, he was able to get away.
And as of this morning, authorities in Grant County are still looking for him. Among the many local, state, and federal agencies dedicated to fighting wildfires in our state is the Washington National Guard. A video by the Guard's Peter Chang shows some of the water bucket training that goes in to Wildfire air operations.
Mission overview, we're doing bucket qualification hover checks here on gray, green, blue route over to Cat Lake, where we'll set up our orbit.
Yeah, so weather right now is forecast to be overcast at 2,000 feet, 4 miles visibility.
I'll be calling the drop in cabin door, but he'll be calling everything on the bucket.
One down, skip course, my left approach at 2, left, our connection right C, left, 744 happens, bathroom, all 4 quadrants, 1102.
I'm CV3 Ryan Christopher Schwend. I'm a unit IP in Bravo 1168 here with the Washington National Guard. So we're conducting water bucket training and validation with the Forest Service.
Let's come down 3, 2, 1, hold her down. All right, bucket's closed. Bucket's closed, clear, come on.
So this is annually, we do it every spring. It's part of our training to get ready for the summer fire season. From all we're hearing from meteorologists with the DNR, this will be an intense fire season. So we've prepared to fight those fires this year. We've got crews laid out for the summer. People are prepared to adjust their civilian work schedules and come get on state active duty to fly these water bucket missions to put out fires.
Ready. Jump. Bucket's open. Pass. Quarters. And bucket's empty. Spot on. Call off the drop. Damage. Cover up. 774 is off the drop.
We love doing this job, and we appreciate all the support we get from the citizens of Washington.
Fascinating stuff indeed. And finally, on this Thursday morning, collisions between wildlife and vehicles are a recurring problem in the Wenatchee Valley and across the state. Earlier this week, I had a chance to talk to Washington State Department of Transportation Public Information Officer Lauren Loebsack and biologist Matt Wisen about what you do if you hit a deer or another animal on our area highways.
If there is a collision that your airbags have gone off and the like, or there's any concerns, pulling off to a safe place if you're able to, and calling 911. State Patrol is going to, respond, and they have a lot of different connections with our traffic management center and our crews to be able to then dispatch if there was also an animal strike. But those ones that might be, you just clipped something or you're not quite sure, or you heard that thump or whatever, you can call our traffic management center and just let people know, let the person that answered know whereabouts you were, and then our crews can go make sure that when they're out patrolling, they can go review to make sure that there isn't an obstruction in the road, and also be able to manage what if there's something out there in the right of way.
And we've all seen that when we didn't hit it, but we're driving on the highway and there's a dead deer in the middle of the roadway and there's nobody anywhere near it. Same deal. You want to pull over so you're not actually operating the automobile and call the State Patrol and say there's a deer here at milepost 4.
Yep.
And it ain't doing well.
And that gets all the way. We have good communication chains with our local State Patrol, and so that gets to us, and then we're able to respond. Yeah.
Matthew, anything else to add before we cut you loose on this busy day?
No, just be aware and expect that there will be wildlife that are unpredictable around, and more than you think. So when you can slow down, when you can pull over, if you need to pull over, make sure you're doing it in a safe place. I mean, don't put your own life in risk to take care of something else there. Pull over in the same safe spot that's not dry grass and stuff like that as well.
Yep.
You catalytic converter. That's not good.
Yep.
And just be aware. And we're always available here at DOT to reach out. Call us, email us, go online. There's venues there. We have Instagram, Facebook, social media type stuff.
Those are your headlines on this Thursday morning. Grant is back after his single day off to do the news tonight at 5, 6, and 10. I'll be doing sports best I can, stepping in for Eric Granstrom. So check out the news tonight at 5, 6, and 10. And don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. You can go to our Facebook page and drop us a note via the Messenger app, or you can go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and it's pretty simple. You just fill out the fields. It's right there on our homepage, and hit submit, and we'll get it here at the Broadcast Metroplex in beautiful downtown Wenatchee, Washington. Going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking baseball. The Apple Sox, their long league losing streak came to an end last night in Port Angeles, but the Mariners in a little bit of a slump against the Yankees. We'll have sports, the obscure holiday today in history, celebrity birthdays, and opinion from my Mad Dog McNaughty. Pause for pets with Megan McPherson, and my conversation with the leaders of the Wenatchee FC B05 team going for the national championship this weekend in Colorado. It's all coming up on this edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Things have changed in the motorsports industry. Short supply and high demand have emptied showrooms. But what hasn't changed are the experts at Doghouse Motorsports. They are here to help you reserve the machine of your choice. Stop by and check out the latest 2022 Husqvarna motorcycles, UBCO, and Intense electric vehicles, and other new additions to the Doghouse Motorsports family of high-quality products.
Over the last year and a half, the industry's absolutely changed, but the Doghouse is still your best option for all your power sports needs.
Play ball!
Wenatchee Apple Sox baseball is on the NCW Life channel. Join us for live play-by-play coverage of the Apple Sox Friday, July 9th as they host the Corvallis Knights at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. Pre-game takes the air at 6:30 with a first pitch at 6:35. It's the Knights and the Apple Sox as we celebrate summer one inning at a time. Live on your local TV station, the NCW Life channel.
22 minutes after the hour. Speaking of the Apple Sox, they took down Port Angeles 5-1 last night at Civic Field to end their 7-game losing streak in league games. Wenatchee scored first with back-to-back RBI base hits from Dakota Duffalo and Adam Grobe in the top of the third. And after the lefties scored in the bottom of the third, Wenatchee kept their 2-1 lead going strong past the seventh. Wenatchee would break through to add some insurance because of one guy, John Newman Jr. He tattooed a hanger and flew it out past the left field wall for his second home run of the summer. And after a double steal attempt, brought home Tino Betancourt. The Sox had all they would need to finish the game. Rising Oregon sophomore Logan Mercado had his best outing yet. Mercado walked just 2, struck out 8 lefties to set a new benchmark for the Apple Sox this year. His replacement, Skylar Hales, continued to trend up. He had 3 shutout innings where he gave up just 1 walk, 1 hit, and he struck out 4. And then Sox closer Chase Grillo came into the 9th. He struck out 2 of the 4 he faced to give the Apple Sox the victory. Newman's homer helped him finish with his second 2-hitter of this 2-homer game of the summer. Right fielder Michael O'Hara, he returned from a 4-game injury absence to pick up his 5th game with multiple hits. And Dakota Duffalo, by the way, quietly racked up 2 hits. That's Duffalo's 3rd straight game with 2 hits and his 8th multi-hit game overall. For the Apple Sox, they move out of last place in the North and they push Port Angeles back behind them by half a game. Wenatchee is just 1 game behind Walla Walla now for that first half wild card spot. Out of the North, Wenatchee will focus on taking the series tonight. They'll take on Port Angeles in the rubber game. First pitch at 6:35. Aaron Judge capped New York's early offensive outburst against Seattle's all-star Yusei Kikuchi. His 20th home run of the season. It was a bomb. We're going to show it to you. Yankees hold on for the 5-4 win over the Mariners last night at T-Mobile Park. For the second straight game, the Yankees scored a flurry of runs in the first couple of innings, but this time they had to withstand a Mariner rally. Judge's 2-run home run was clubbed into the second deck in left field. You don't see that too often. That gave the Yankees a 5-1 lead. Luke Voigt had a 2-out RBI base hit in the first inning. Gleyber Torres had a 2-run base hit. The Yankees scored 3 in the first inning for the second straight game, and here are your highlights.
And Voigt rips that to left field, a base hit. Aaron Judge being waved around third. Here he comes. The throw is high. Judge scores. It's an RBI single for Luke Voigt, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. Torres trying to add to it. That hits the ground. 1 run will score. Here comes Voigt. He scores. It's a 2-run single for Gleyber Torres, and the Yankees again put up a 3 spot in the first. Urshela smokes that into left center field. That ball will get down. Bad break for the Yankees scores as it hops over the wall, and Torres, who would have surely scored, is going to have to park it at third after Gio Urshela's two-out double. Oh, missed that one badly. Sanchez going to retrieve it, and a wild pitch on ball 4 will plate Seattle's first run as Haniger scores, and it's a 3-1 game. As LeCastro grounds a base hit into shallow left center. LeCastro takes a big turn. He's going for 2, and he is in with a double. The 2-1. Judge hammers that. High, deep, and hold on. Crushed. A 2-run launch job from Aaron Judge. And the Yankees lead is 5-1. That ball is hit high in the air to left. Looking up is LeCastro. It is gone. And just like that, it's a brand new game. A 3-run shot for Tom Murphy. And the Yankees lead is now just 5-4. 0-2. Torres skies that to center field and deep, but Trammell will catch up with it for the second time tonight. Where does he go with the 2-2? Good night. A heater to end it. And the Yankees win it 5-4. 10 straight road series wins in Seattle for the Yankees.
Yeah, they play good in T-Mobile Park. The Yankees do. Yusei Kikuchi, he struggled badly in his first start since being named to the All-Star team. He allowed a season-high 5 runs, 8 hits. He settled down later to retire the last 7 batters he faced. Domingo Germán was supposed to start for the Yankees. He had emergency root canal surgery on Wednesday morning. He was scratched from the start. Nick Nelson got the nod instead. He didn't pitch particularly well. Other news as far as the Mariners are concerned, Hector Santiago is expected to have his appeal of his 10-game suspension for using a grip-enhancing substance. That appeal will be heard today. That's according to manager Scott Service. He became the first player, of course, to actually be disciplined under the new crackdown for grip-enhancing foreign substances that happened back on June 26th against the White Sox. Santiago has appeared in 2 games since he was suspended because he appealed the suspension. And Justin Sheffield placed on the 10-day injured list. Right-hand pitcher Eric Swanson will take his place on the roster. He was called up from AAA Tacoma. The rubber game of the match is an afternoon affair, a matinee 1:10 this afternoon. It's Jordan Montgomery slated to pitch. The Mariners will go with righty Logan Gilbert. Again, first pitch, 1:10 this afternoon. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 28 minutes after the hour, the obscure holiday of the day today, as much as I try to avoid food-related holidays, almonds and chocolate are the way to go. My mom's favorite candy bar, and I miss my mom a lot, was the Hershey's bar with almonds, and I can understand why. You know, over 50 million people in this planet, 50 million people on Earth, make their living working in the chocolate industry. That's how much we love chocolate on this planet. But we're going to talk more about the health benefits of almonds, which are phenomenal. Boy, you just keep popping them almonds down, they're going to do good for you. It reduces your risk of heart attack. It lowers your bad cholesterol. It protects your artery walls from damage. Eating almonds will build healthy bones and healthy teeth. It provides healthy fats. It helps you lose weight. It lowers the rise in blood sugar and insulin after you eat a big meal. It's good for your brain. It's good for your central nervous system. Is there anything that almonds don't do for you that isn't good? And then you cover it in chocolate. And that's a winner, baby. National Chocolate with Almonds Day, celebrated annually on July 8th because it is. I don't know why. Bottom of the hour. Today in history, the very deepest depths of the Depression was happened on this day, July the 8th, 1932, 89 years ago today. The Dow Jones Industrial Averages closes at 41.22. That was its lowest level ever during the Great Depression. It would take a very, very long time for it to climb back up. And for the record, again, it closed on this date in 1932 at 41.22, the all-time lowest for the Dow Jones Industrial Averages, the 30 biggest stocks. Yesterday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed at 34,289. And remember, that's not the New York Stock Exchange. That's just the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So, the Depression reached its peak, if you will, or its nadir, I think would probably be the more correct word, 89 years ago today. July 8th, 1947, somewhere in Roswell, New Mexico, we're pretty sure a UFO may have crashed. We're not sure. Reports or broadcasts on this date that a UFO crash-landed somewhere near Roswell, New Mexico. It became known as the Roswell UFO incident. There it is. Captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. The U.S. military at the time, it's kind of those things that we're pretty sure we saw something. The U.S. military said at the time it was a weather balloon that crashed. 50 years later, in 1997, they said, no, it actually wasn't a weather balloon. It was a nuclear test surveillance balloon that crashed. They changed their mind. You're supposed to pick a story and stick with it, people. Anyway, we've all seen the movie Independence Day. That happened on this date 74 years ago today. Yeah, let's go out and tour. Jimi Hendrix. The Jimi Hendrix experience was just beginning to explode here in America. Jimmy had to move from America to England just to get discovered, and he was. And 54 years ago today, July the 8th, 1967, the Monkees begin their 29-date North American tour. The opening act, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Jimi Hendrix opening for the Monkees. Jimi Hendrix was dropped after 6 shows. The promoters went, okay, Jimi Hendrix and his acid rock and blasted out awesome guitar pyrotechnic show doesn't quite mesh with the Monkees. Happened on this date in 67. And finally, a friendly reminder that the space shuttle program ended not with a bang, but with a whimper. It was just 10 years ago today, that the Space Shuttle Atlantis was launched in the final mission of the Space Shuttle program. All it did was go up, resupply the International Space Station, and come back down again. In fact, only 4 astronauts even participated in it. Basically, it was up, here's your food, here's a toaster, here's some videotapes, and then they went back to Earth. And that was it. Space Shuttle program came to an end. Let's do some birthdays. John D. Rockefeller, born in 1839, lived to the age of 97, died in 1937. People who are wealthy live a long time. And this guy, well, if you consider the real value of his wealth, you adjust it for inflation, and then you take into account his wealth measured against the gross domestic product of the United States, John D. Rockefeller was by far the wealthiest American ever. Not even close. Sorry, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. He is, without question, the wealthiest American of all time and the richest person in modern history. He was worth $423 billion by today's standard. He was America's first billionaire and then multi-billionaire on down the line. John D. Rockefeller, born in the state in 1839. To his credit, he retired for 60 years and proceeded to give away his money and start universities and trusts and stuff. So there is that. $423 billion. Johnny Johnson. You may not know who Johnny Johnson is, but if you play any Chuck Berry record in your collection, that's Johnny Johnson on piano. He probably co-wrote with Chuck Berry most of Chuck Berry's hits. The piano was an integral part of the sound of Chuck Berry. Johnny Johnson, very later on in his life, sued for royalties and co-writing credits, but the judge said, sorry, too late, statute of limitations expired. The great Johnny Johnson was born in the state in 1924. We lost Johnny at the age of 80 in 2005. He got a Congressional Gold Medal, and he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so he did have that. The genius, Johnny Johnson. Speaking of musical geniuses, Joe B. Malden, the bass player in the Crickets. Buddy Holly and the Crickets, my favorite band, as you well know. Joe B. Malden was the bass player, and a darn good one. We lost Joe a number of years ago. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We missed you, Joe. One of the only members of the Crickets that I actually got to meet. And finally, Kevin Bacon is 63. We all remember playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. He hated that game when it first came out. Now he's embraced it. Kevin Bacon, 63 years old. And who's kidding who? He's been in a lot of movies. All right, we have an opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty coming up. My conversation with Neil Oyston and Matt Wisen about the Wenatchee FC B05 team that's going to Colorado to play for the national championship. That's all coming up. But first things first, it's Wabbit season. Cinnabon the Wabbit needs a home. It's Paws for Pets with Megan McPherson.
Hey everyone, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel. We are here with Haley at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and Cinnabon is joining us this week. Can you tell us about Cinnabon?
Yeah, so Cinnabon is really sweet. She's working on being held. She's very affectionate, very friendly. She loves her veggies. One of her favorites is kale, and she really chows down on all of the fresh veg when she gets it. She's a little bit shy at first. She does have a house that she sometimes hides in, but once she's comfortable, she is wanting to be out and about. She is litter box trained, so you don't have to worry about training her to do that. Ever since she's been spayed, she's been really good about using her litter box.
Okay, and what kind of home is she looking for?
She probably would need an indoor home, or if you have her outside, have her be supervised at all times while she's outside, so that way she doesn't escape by accident. I think she'd be good with kids. Cats and dogs, maybe. It honestly depends on the temperament of the other pets in the home, but she should do well with children, and she could probably be bonded to another bunny if you had another bunny.
Okay. And what's the adoption process?
If you are interested in adopting Cinnabon, you can just come on down. We are now open to the public, and you can let the front desk know that you are interested in seeing her, and we can get you to meet her.
The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open by appointment only. Call them at 509-662-9577 to schedule a meet and greet or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
This is Kelly, owner of the Original Children's Shop in downtown Wenatchee. We strive to bring you the most quality, fashionable, and fun clothing for your little ones, along with gifts, toys, and accessories. I look forward to meeting you soon at the Original Children's Shop.
Tipsy Canyon Winery has become the place to go for fine wine and unbelievable views of the Chelan Valley. And now there's even more to enjoy. A new bandstand hosts live music every Thursday night during the spring and summer. The oversized fire pit's a favorite gathering place in the fall and winter. Tipsy Canyon has become a year-round destination for wine lovers. And while things have changed, what remains the same is that at-home feel provided by Mark, Tammy, and Lexi Garland. Stay for the moment that becomes the memory at Tipsy Canyon.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, there's a lot of argument these days about capitalism and whether or not some people have too much money. Well, honestly, I have to agree. I think some people do have too much money, but also, honestly, who's to say who has too much and what too much is? You, me? Now, one truth is, to many people in third world countries, the average American, you and me, for example, we have too much money. We have more than enough food, little concerns about personal safety, and the lifestyle of most of us exceeds that of millionaires 100 years ago. So again, what's too much and who gets to say? Something to consider. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat Tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's one of the great local success stories of recent times. It's the B05 Wenatchee FC youth soccer team who's on an incredible run this spring and this summer, and by golly, they've made it to the Final Four, and they're playing big market, big talent teams from little old Wenatchee town, USA. And here to talk about it is our local sports expert, our soccer expert when we do soccer games here. On the NCW Live channel, our very own Matt Wisen. Always good to see Matthew. And to the far left is the guy who coaches the team, Neil Oyston, who's also, by the way, done some soccer play-by-play and color commentator when he happens to be popping by the booth. It's good to see both of you.
Yeah, great to see you too.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Neil, you have never actually been, Matt's been on the show before. I don't know why. So give folks just a little background on Neil Oyston. Neil Oyston 101. Tell folks about yourself.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Originally from England, so I've been here about 6 years now in Wenatchee, so pretty long time. Started coaching here in about 2014. Started with summer camps, kind of made some good contacts here in the valley. And the good thing about this story is that I've been around these boys for 4 or 5 years now, so I've kind of seen them grow a little bit. Really just loving the passion that I'm seeing in Wenatchee now, the love of the game. There's so much exposure now in the valley, and so the profile of the game is definitely improving. And so, love this valley. Love how everybody's come together. I just love the profile of the game, and like I said, just being able to give these local boys an opportunity to play at high levels is really, really awesome for me. So, a
couple of months ago, I interviewed Matt right when the Wenatchee FC was going through their tryout period, when the teams were getting together at Foothills and figuring out who belongs where. And I asked Matt, how can you account for the incredible soccer talent that's in the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington? We seem to have this abundance of players who not only play the game well, but understand the nuances of the game. For us, little old Wenatchee Valley. I can't remember what exactly you said, Matt, but you made a great point. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, some of the new fields are being built, just soccer specific. Two of the futsal courts. I mean, they're new, but that's part of it, being able to play longer. A big part of it, our coaches like Neil, coming onto the scene and really taking the level of coaching to the higher level and being able to bring out things in these kids that maybe we haven't been able to in the past. So professionally, the bar has been raised quite a bit.
Neil, what do you think? What's going on here with this great soccer community?
We've worked hard over the last 5-6 years. When I took over the position of director of coaching, there was probably a lot of work that we needed to do. We've focused on player development, so we started with the young kids, just purely technical. So, how do you receive the ball? How do you dribble the ball? How do you shoot the ball? Really just started basic, and then over the years, as these players grow up, then you start working more tactically and then improving their soccer IQ. And there's definitely, there's always been potential in Wenatchee. And then the hard work that's been done by the club. We have a fantastic board. Obviously, Matt's the vice president. Everyone's just kind of got together. And I think what you're starting to see is all of that hard work over the last 4 or 5 years come to fruition. And obviously with these boys here, doing as well as they've done is just a byproduct of that hard work for the last 4 or 5 years, really focusing on that development aspect of the game.
What exactly happened over the last month when you guys went from let's see how good we are against some pretty top flight competition to make it to the Final Four in the B05? And for those who don't know, B05 means they were born in the year 2005, and so they're all in that group. And what happened over the last 6 weeks, Neil?
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome story. So what happens is every league across the country, they play in their own regional league. So we played in the local Washington Premier League. And so obviously we won that regional league, so that means we were able to go forward to the national sort of championship. And so last week over in Denver, we were playing against some pretty elite teams across the western side of the country. So they called it the Western Playoffs. And so we came up against some teams. Our first game was against Chicago Fire Academy. We managed to beat them 3-2. Our second game, we played a team from Southern California. We were unfortunate. We got beat to that team. But, you know, like I said to the boys, we learned more in defeat. And we came back the next game and we managed to win by 2 clear goals. We beat a team from Dallas FC, another academy team. And then in our final game, we played the team from Oklahoma and we managed to beat them 1-0, which meant that we then went through to the Final Four to play against 2 teams from the eastern side and then another team from the west, which means that we're going back obviously this coming week into the Final Four. So it's just been an amazing sort of journey. And like you said, there was a lot of coaches who didn't really know where we were from, so they were calling us Wichita, they were calling us all sorts of things. Where are you guys from? And so I think we just had this underdog mentality, and I think that's what really drove the boys with our incredible team spirit. So
maybe a little chip on their shoulder too, Matt? Maybe is there a respect issue here when you're taking on teams from Southern California and Chicago and Dallas?
There can be. I mean, it's getting in their head that they're capable of competing. They deserve to be on that pitch with them. And not being intimidated. It's easy to be intimidated when you see these big clubs come in, 5-6 coaches, and these players are made up from multiple states and
deep pockets,
really deep pockets, and it's really easy to be intimidated. But these kids just have the right mindset to compete and find ways to win individual battles as well as team battles on the field, and they're showing it.
Are these the best 16-year-old players in North Central Washington on your team right now?
I think so. I think we've just gotten it. You know, we've got players from Leavenworth. We've got players obviously from Wenatchee, Kashmir. You know, even a couple of players from Quincy as well. So we've been able to kind of outreach to those communities as well and almost get the best of the best from North Central Washington. And I think, you know, we're proving, like what Matt said there, that we deserve to be at this level. Sometimes, because we are from a little small town, some of these boys might think, you know, that we don't deserve to be there, but we're showing that, yeah, we are actually one of the best teams within the state and hopefully within the country. So,
one thing I think is really cool about this particular team competing in this competition right now is that a lot of other teams in various leagues around that get to this level are encouraged to bring on other players from
ringers
from other squads, and we haven't and bench. I've seen it personally, bench some of their own players to bring in ringers, and we don't really believe that's a true representation of development of your own squad, and so they're dancing with the players that they came with, and
that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. Has this already been a successful year regardless of what happens over the weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I think this, you know, what happens is a bonus. You know, I think we had a target in mind with the boys. We said, hey, let's go there. Let's see if we can get to the second week. You know, we would have had to have played tremendously well to hit that target. But no matter what happens, I think for this group, for this team to have achieved what they've done so far has already been a success. But like I told the boys, I said, hey, let's go there. Let's see what we can do. Let's play to our fullest potential and let's see what happens. You know, let's reach for the stars almost.
How did you develop the team as far as an overall philosophy? These are my best soccer players, and so I got some good defensemen, but maybe we don't have too many good strikers and midfielders, so we're going to wait for the other team to make a mistake, or do you like to attack?
Yeah.
Do you have an overall philosophy, or this is my talent pool, and I'm going to play to what I have?
It's a great question, because I think when you get to this level, it is a little bit, you know, more tactical based. Though, you know, I'll hold my hands up. I said some of those teams that we played against, you know, might have been technically better than us, but we had to adopt a game plan and a strategy. You know, in our final game, we actually took the lead within 3 or 4 minutes, and then I decided just to, you know, we almost call it parking the bus a little bit. We dropped deep, you know, we had a better defensive shape about us, and we invited the team onto us, and we defended really well, and we tried to then hit them on the counter where the space was. So that's what I told the boys. I said, it's almost like chess, you know. I think a big strength of ours, and the boys especially, is they adapt to the game situation. So if we're ahead 1-0, we know what to do. If we're behind 1-0, we know what to do. And I think their levels of intelligence have improved, and it's a huge credit to them to be able to then take my instructions and then to apply it to the field. So
we have a picture of the team from their victorious trip from a couple weeks ago, and I know you don't like to single out any one player, but to me, the first person that would jump out to me would be your goalie. I mean, if you have a good goalie, that's like having a left-handed starting pitcher in baseball. That's an ace in the hole if your goalie can stop goals. Talk about your team. Feel free to point out anybody specific if you want, Neil.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes I don't like to call out any individual player. I mean, obviously it's a tremendous team. Everybody played their part. Everybody did need to play their part in last week. We had a roster of 18. Each of them has individual strengths. But like I said there, our goalkeeper in orange, he's a huge presence in there. Obviously if you're one-on-one with Seth is his name, you're going to have to be really good to slot the ball either side of him, because he's just got such great reactions in that goal. Tremendous catching ability too. But there's one player in mind that I'd like to highlight. His name is Edgar Leone. He's our captain. He's a number 10. He's a phenomenal leader for me. He's my captain. He leads by example. This boy's just got tremendous potential. He's great in tight areas. He draws defenders to him, and then he goes past them with ease. He can do everything. He can do free kicks. He did a bicycle kick earlier this season. He can head the ball. He can distribute the ball. He can find passing lanes when other players might not be able to see it. And he's a humble kid. I enjoy working with him. And I know he's got a great future ahead of him. And like I said, the whole team around him, really played their part this season in that game. So
where's the trophy?
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty big trophy, isn't it?
Is it sitting at your house right now, Neil?
Yeah, we had to get like I don't know, an extra cargo plane to bring that over. So.
Matt, I've always appreciated your inside knowledge of soccer as we've covered high school sports with you and Sebastian Moraga and Neil on occasion. What's this going to do for the local soccer community? Even win or lose, even if they come in fourth out of the 4 teams in the Final Four, what's this going to do to the local soccer community, which is already brimming with talent and enthusiasm? Is it going to go to the next level?
Hopefully. Yeah. I mean, it brings some legitimacy to the sport in the Valley. Historically, this is a football and baseball town. That's where the trophies are in the trophy cases at the high school and such. Starting to get there. And so when we start making waves on the national scene, it validates what we're trying to do with some of the locals, and hopefully we can continue some of the development of some fields around here, maybe use some of that space that was used for other things, and find ways to make little pitches to keep people playing. Gives us some more credibility with the state, with the league, all that kind of stuff, and just makes it easier. Also, it's acknowledgement and kind of a way for us to thank parents and everybody else. I mean, it's just not the coaches; it's a whole family. The club, it takes a lot of work. Players' parents, all the days on the road and whatever, and even other coaches from other clubs that have been part of these kids' lives too. It's all a little feather in the cap for them, and it's good to watch your players that you've invested so much in have success.
And thanks for mentioning the parents, because the parents have to be invested in this.
It's a tremendous investment.
Yeah, we've had to, obviously it's a big financial commitment as well. So I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everybody who we've had to rely on donations. We've even set up a GoFundMe account. It's a lot to try and get these boys back after a week to go back to Denver. So it's a huge financial commitment. So I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who has donated to these boys. They're not going to take that for granted. So.
Wenatchee FC will take on Social Elite FC, Southern Chester County, I don't know where that is, and Seacoast United, Maine. Wow, they have a long flight. Is there any scouting in any of this, Neil, or is it we're already going to have sugar on the ice cream? Let's do our very best. Do you have any idea about these other 3 teams?
Yeah, the great thing about our first game against SoCal, Southern California, is that we played them, a couple of weeks ago, and we got beat to them 4-2. And me especially, I learned from that a lot. Obviously it took me a little bit of time to get over the loss, but our next 2 games, we managed to win, and like I said to the boys, you learn more in defeat. than you do in victory. And as painful as that was, I think we now have a pretty good idea of how about they play and what we have to do to learn. And I said to the boys again, I think the most successful team next week is the ones who learn from the lessons. Not necessarily the best teams, but the ones who have learned the lessons from before, who can then go forward and make the changes where it's necessary. So
it's a great story, and win or lose, you guys have already made the Wenatchee Valley proud and the soccer community here in the Wenatchee Valley proud, despite the fact that you have to work with guys like Matt.
Yeah.
No, we're kidding. We love Matt. We love Matt. When he gets the bolts tightened in his neck, he's in great shape. He really is. Neil, have a good, safe flight home, and keep in touch and let us know how the team does throughout the course of this process. And one more thing I want to mention is, the nice thing about this, these are still kids. They still want to go to the lake and goof off, and they can still do that. It's not like it's eating up their whole summer, It's,
Right.
And that's good too, because kids still need to be kids.
They still need to be kids, and look, I mean, it's a great area to live for these boys, especially. So look, you can go to Lake Chelan, and obviously once they win next week, then I'll probably give them a week off if that's the case to go and enjoy themselves.
Neil Oyston is the director of coaching for the Wenatchee FC, and Matt Wisen. Why did I even have you come in? What was the point of this?
Make Neil look good?
Yeah, that must be it.
That's got to be it.
Call Sebastian and find out what he's doing. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
At Wenatchee Power Sports, we proudly offer the Polaris product line. Polaris builds the highest quality side-by-side in the industry, with off-road capability that's second to none. The Polaris pre-order program allows customers to purchase the vehicle they want without having to select from limited dealer inventory. The Wenatchee Valley has year-round access to some of the best ORV trails in the Northwest. Start your adventure here at Wenatchee Power Sports.
What is home? A place to gather, a place to grow, provide shelter for the ones we love, eat, drink, restore, build trust. It's a place to rest when the workday is done, a place to find quiet after a night of good fun. What an honor we have at Guild to help own, finance, create, pave the way to live in home.
Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge in Leavenworth has a warm environment to enhance your dining experience. Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Crystal's Intimate Lounge is a wonderful place to relax and dine with beautiful views of the mountains. Do you have a special occasion coming up? Call Crystal's to reserve their event space. Whether your event is grand, intimate, or casual, Crystal's provides unforgettable food and superb service. Crystal's Restaurant and Lounge, proud to be serving fabulous food and drinks.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treat people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
And we are back on a drop-dead gorgeous Thursday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 68 degrees, 49% relative humidity. As far as the weather forecast is concerned, it looks something like this. And no, we just didn't take what we did yesterday and just redo the graphic. No. But it's just what it is. It's those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer. Get out and enjoy it. Not brutally hot like we had, with those insane 110, 115 degree temperatures, but still plenty warm for most people. The nice thing is the overnight lows aren't too bad. 95 a forecast high today, 65 for the overnight low tonight. Sunny and warm, 99, 100, 98, 100, 101, 98 degrees. Another ridge is going to start building up today. It'll be well entrenched by the time we get to Friday afternoon, and just like it was last time, it's just going to sit there. The only difference is it's not going to be quite as hot. In fact, it's not going to be anywhere near as hot as those all-time record highs that we set. Summertime, beautiful weather. Get out and enjoy. But wherever you go, take us along. We're portable, all right? Have a good Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.